Hey, sixth grade. You are going to do lesson 4, day 6. And this is kind of the quiz review. So you're basically going to be doing this on your own with a video pause, and then you're going to watch the video to go over your answers. But right now, before we start, we want to make sure that you're ready. First of all, is your book on page 36 and open and ready to go? Second, do you have a calculator with you, because you're going to need that for this lesson? If you're not ready, pause it, get your book, get your calculator, and then restart it. Now, if you are ready, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pause the video, do page 36 and 37. So you're going to do number 1 through 6, all the problems on these 2 pages. You can use any strategy you know how to do, but if it says show your work, I do want you to show your work. You can do ratio tables, you can find rates and unit rates, whatever you need to do to answer the question is fair game, as long as you get it right. Now, also remember, if you're not sure, because some of these are tricky, I'll give that to you, you give it your best shot. If you get one wrong, so what? You learn from it, because you're going to be taking your quiz shortly after this. All right, so your job is to do 1 through 6 on page 36 and 37 now. Pause it, restart it when you're done. Go. Okay, so now, let's go through, and I'm going to start going over number 1. So number 1 says, Corey knows that 16 tablespoons are the same as 1 cup. He needs to measure 3/4 of a cup, but all he has is a tablespoon. How many tablespoons should Corey use? All right, so here's where we have our ratio. 16 tablespoons are in 1 cup, but he doesn't need a cup. He only needs 3/4 of a cup. Now, I'm going to draw a picture to help me understand this one. Imagine this square is 1 cup. And it's 16 tablespoons, right? So the whole thing is 16 tablespoons. But he only needs 3/4 of a cup. So if I split this cup into 4ths, 4 equal sections, I have to figure out what 3/4 is. Now remember, 1 cup is 16 tablespoons, right? So that means in each 4th, there would be 4, because 4, 8, 12, 16. So I'm going to switch to red here. It says he needs to measure 3/4 of a cup. So he needs 3 of these 4ths, which would be 4, 8, 12. So the answer is 12 tablespoons. All right, now, just so you know, you could have been like, you know what? I know there's 16 tablespoons in a cup, so if I have 3/4 cup, 3/4 times 16 is 12. You get the same answer with that multiplication problem, but totally up to you, as long as you got your answer. Pause it if you got it wrong and make a correction. All right, number 2. Mrs. Roscoe has to travel 390 miles on a highway. She drives 130 miles in 2 hours. Okay, so that right there is the ratio. If she has 7 hours to travel at that rate, will she arrive at her destination on time? Now, anytime it's multiple choice, I like to look at my choices. So I see they give me 2 yes, she'll arrive on time, and 2 no's. I also see they give us, she'll either arrive an hour early, 4 hours early, an hour late, or 4 hours late. So that's going to help me eliminate some answers. Now, this one to me is making me think I should do a ratio table. So I'm going to set one up here. Split it into a bunch of columns. All right, so it's miles and hours. So I'm going to put miles on top and hours on bottom. Now, the ratio they give me is 130 miles in 2 hours. So if this is 1 hour, here's 2 hours. And it's 130 miles. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I'll go further if I need to. All right, now, it says she has 7 hours to travel at this rate. So it looks like right here is how long. So she has 7 hours. And she has to travel 390 miles. So basically, we have to know, will she get to 390 miles when she gets to 7 hours? Now, in order to figure this out, I'm going to find the rate. So remember, to do that, all I do is 130 divided by 2. And if you do 130 divided by 2, you get 65 miles in 1 hour. Now, I'm going to highlight the 65 in red because that is our unit rate. She's going 65 miles per hour. So that means I can just multiply the number of hours by 65 to get any of my numbers. So I'm going to fill in the rest of the table. So if I do 3 times 65, I get 195. If I do 4 times 65, I get 260. If I do 5 times 65, I get 325. If I do 6 times 65, I get 390. And now, think about that for a second. Remember it says she has 7 hours of travel. Will she make it to her destination on time? Well, she has 390 miles to go. Well, she hit 390 miles, right? It didn't even take her 7 hours. It only took her 6 hours. So yes, she will arrive on time, and she will arrive an hour early because it only took her 6 hours to get there. So if you were to keep going, you'd see 455, but you don't need that because she's not going that far. All right, so that's the answer to 2. If you had it right, give yourself a C. Remember, if you had it wrong, think ratio tables. Do a ratio table and you can answer almost any of these. All right, number 3. At Mark's Hardware, a package of 8 hinges costs $28. So I'm going to circle that in red there. At Steve's Supplies, a package of 11 hinges costs $38. So that's 11, and that's at Steve's. Which statement is the most accurate? Okay, so now let me check out those statements real quick. It says Mark's Hardware is a better... All right, so there's 2 that say Mark's is the better buy. There's 2 that say Steve's is the better buy. But they give me different reasons. So Mark's is a better buy because the hinges are $350 per hinge, or because 28 is less than 38. Steve's is a better buy because it sells hinges $345 per hinge, or because you get more hinges. Now, I'm actually going to eliminate 2 answers. Because think about it. It says Mark's is the better buy because 28 is less than 38. That doesn't make sense to me because, yeah, 28 is less than 38, I agree, but you don't get as many hinges. So I don't think B is going to be the right answer. I don't. Because it doesn't matter that 28 is less than 38 because there's a different amount of hinges. Now there's another one I'm going to eliminate. In D, it says Steve's Supplies is the better buy because you get more hinges. Again, it doesn't matter if you get more hinges because, yeah, you get 11 hinges, but you're paying more for it. So that doesn't have anything to do with whether it's a better buy. So I just want to figure out their price per hinge here. So let's talk about, I'm going to do kind of a little bit of a T chart here. So I'm going to do Mark's on this side. I'll just put an M, and I'll do an S for Steve's on this side. So remember, let's start with Mark's. Mark's hinges are $28 for 8 hinges. Now, to figure out the unit price, you divide 28 by 8, and that will get you $3. It comes out to 3.5 on your calculator, but it will get you $3.50 for 1 hinge. Now we're going to do the same to Steve's. So we're going to take, let me find his numbers. So his are $38 for 11. Now when you do 38 by 11, you get a weird repeater. It comes out to 3.454545. You only need the first 2 digits after the decimal. Just think that's how money works, right? You only go out to the hundredths place. So Steve's are $345 per hinge. So which is the better buy? Well, if you have the same exact hinges, you want to pay cheaper. You want to pay less money for it, right? So that means Steve's is the better buy because each of his hinges are cheaper. If you had C, give yourself a C. All right. Now, number 4. Remember, pause the video anytime you need to make a correction. You don't want me going ahead if you're making corrections on old problems. 4 says, Elena can swim 12 laps in 4 minutes. Okay. Where am I at? Fill in the blanks in the double number line to show this relationship between laps and minutes. All right, so let me fill in that first. 12 laps in 4 minutes. So I see, here's the 4 minutes, so here's the 12 laps. Okay, now, to fill in this, there's a lot of things you could do. First off, notice to go from 4 to 12 minutes to laps, you can multiply by 4. So anywhere they give us the number of minutes, you could just multiply that number by 4 to get, or I'm sorry, not by 4. That's a mistake. Scratch that. Let me get my eraser. 4 times 4 isn't 12. You can multiply by 3. Sorry about that, guys. So 4 times 3 is 12, right? So anywhere they give us the number of minutes, just multiply by 3. But what if they give us the number of laps and not the number of minutes? So if you think, the inverse of times 3 would be divided by 3. If you divide 12 by 3, you get 4. So you can divide the number of laps by 3. So I could say, all right, what's 24 divided by 3? 24 divided by 3 is 8. 48 divided by 3 is 16. All right, but there's another way you can fill in these blanks. The other is figuring out the horizontal relationship. So look at the number of laps. 0, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. Notice they're counting by 12. So if I continue counting by 12, 72 plus 12 is 84. 84 plus 12 is 96. Now I could do that on the bottom, except they're not counting by 12s. Notice this time they're counting by 4s. So 20 plus 4 is 24. 24 plus 4 is 28, and 28 plus 4 is 32. So lots of different relationships you can use to fill in a double number line. If you had all those numbers right, great. If not, pause it and make sure you make corrections. Okay, so now we're on to the next page with the last 2 problems. We are doing number 5. So, number 5 says there are 4 cups in a quart and 4 quarts in a gallon. How many cups are in a 5-gallon jug of water? Show your work. Okay, so let me think about this one here. 4 cups, I'm going to start by writing down some rates. 4 cups in a quart. Okay, and there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So if I want to know 4 cups in a quart, how many cups would be in 4 quarts? So that's kind of easy. Times 4 times 4. So I know there are 16 cups in 4 quarts, right? Now, it says there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So that means if there's 16 cups in 4 quarts, that means there's 16 cups in 1 gallon. Because 4 quarts is the same as a gallon. It just told us that. Now the question says how many cups are in 5 gallons? So if there's 16 cups in 5 gallons, or I'm sorry, 16 cups in 1 gallon, to get 5 gallons, you would just multiply by 5. So you would have 80 cups in 5 gallons would be my answer. So down here it says there are 80 cups in a 5-gallon jug of water. All right, so I just used a bunch of rates and ratios to figure that answer. You could have also done a ratio table. If you had it wrong, please pause it. Remember, you can rewatch any question if you weren't sure how I went over it. The key is we want you to understand this before your quiz. All right, so number 6, last one. Ivan and Jeff buy a package of 8 pens for $4. Ivan wants 5 of the pens and Jeff wants 3. How much should each student pay? So we have to tell how much Ivan should pay and how much Jeff should pay. Well, what I want to do is figure out what 1 pen cost. So if 8 pens are $4, maybe I'll do a ratio table for this one because I love ratio tables, even though mine are sloppy. Okay, and we have, I always put the money on top, money, pens. So it's $4 for 8 pens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. $4. Now, to figure out the cost of 1 pen, all you have to do is do $4 divided by 8. And if you do that, it comes out to 0.5, but you got to know that's 50 cents. So 1 pen is going to cost 50 cents. Now, you can fill in the rest of the table, but if you know a pen costs 50 cents, I'm going to actually take a shortcut here. Jeff wants 3, right? It says it right here. So just do 3 times 50 cents. And you get $1.50. So Jeff should pay $1.50. And also think of it, if I were counting by 50s, it's $1 for 2 pens, $1.50 for 3 pens. We have that right there with that ratio. Now what about Ivan? Now remember, Ivan wants 5 of the pens. So if you just multiply 5 times 50 cents, you'll get $2.50. So without even filling in the rest of the table, Ivan should pay $2.50. And what do you think is going to happen if we add Ivan's amount and Jeff's amount together? What do you think they should add up to? Well, guess what? $2.50 plus $1.50 is the total $4 that it costs for all 8 pens, which it should. If it didn't add up, we know we're doing something wrong. All right, so guess what? Pause the video. You're done with me. You can rewatch any part of this because you know your quiz is going to have some questions somewhat similar to this. Also, make sure you ask me or Mr. Swigert questions. If you are stuck, we can go over anything with you before your quiz. All right, but other than that, guess what? You're done with the video with me. Make sure everything is filled in correctly in your book. Thanks.